Well, let's take another look at a Nikon product that everybody has been waiting and waiting and waiting for. This is the new Nikon 70-200 AFS 2.8 VR2. Good grief. Couldn't they just call it the Nikon really great lens or something easy to say? Anyway, let's get right to it. There's good and bad with this lens, and I'm going to start with the bad. This is not a 70-200 lens. It's not. What it really is about a 65 or maybe a 60. I haven't quite figured out exactly yet, but let's call it a 65 millimeter to 165 millimeter. And the reason why I say that is because at close focus ranges, this lens is not going to get anywhere near 200 millimeter. It's going to really be anywhere from 130 to 145 millimeter at close focus. Actually, it gets down to about 128 millimeters of reach at 4.5 feet. So this is a lot different from the approximately 185, 190 millimeter of reach on the original version of this lens. And this is going to disappoint a lot of people who are looking for this lens for portrait work, because you cannot make up for this flaw, if you want to call it a flaw in the design. You cannot make up for this, because what happens is that even if you walk closer, if you crop the shot or whatever, you're still going to have a busier background. The out of focus areas are not going to be as creamy as they were with the original version that zoomed into 190 millimeter up close. It's a whole different lens here, and even at further distances, say 10 feet, 15 feet, you're still not going to get 200 millimeter of reach. And again, this is going to be very disappointing to people. I think Nikon made a big mistake here by calling the lens a 70-200. It's a spectacular lens, but the name is misleading. Most people are not going to be shooting landscapes with this lens, and not going to be shooting birds flying in the sky. It doesn't have enough reach for that, even at the maximum magnification. So we have here a lens that excelled for wedding photography and events and portraits, and now in some respects it's not going to be as good for that because it just doesn't have the reach anymore. So I'd also like to add that I think that some people will not like this, but this lens was given out to a lot of early testers, and not a single one really said anything significant about this major problem, that this impressive lens does not go to 200 millimeter or even close to it. And I guess we might overlook it a little better if the previous lens was similar, but it's not. This lens loses 36% of its magnification at close focus. That's right, 36%. I don't think there's another lens of this type, of this caliber, that does that. And Nikon really just needs to change this label and call it what it really is most of the time, a 65 to 165 millimeter lens. Now, let's get to the good news. The good news is we have a spectacular lens here. This is every bit as good as the 14 to 74. I'm sorry, 14 to 24 and the 24 to 70 that are the brother and sister to this lens. And handling is spectacular. Build quality is just off the charts excellent. The tolerances, the feel, everything is just perfect. You can barely hear the VR. I mean, it's just the most quiet system I've ever seen. And the focusing is even more accurate and faster. That's my impression. I haven't really tested it yet, but just shooting it for a couple of days, I feel that this is better for focusing as well. Contrast, color, sharpness, all improved from the previous version. Even on DX, it's noticeable. So this is optically a superior piece of glass. The only flaw is it's not a 70-200. And we need to just stress that over and over and over again, because if you're trading up from the previous lens, you're going to get better optical quality, but you're not going to get the reach, the 200 millimeter, the 190 millimeter. It's not there. Most of the time, you're not going to see 170 millimeter. I thought about even returning the lens and getting the old one back, but I have my trusty Tamron 180, and I have some other lenses. I could certainly work around this for now, and of course you can also add a TC, a teleconverter, and get what you need there. So that's the story with the 70-200, and shame on all those early testers who didn't say anything, and shame on Nikon for not calling the lens what it is, you know, and pretending it's something that it's not. This is not a 70-200. What it is the best 65 to 165 millimeter zoom on the planet. And that's it. Thank you. See you next time.